Two workers, same company, same job, same $68,000 salary. They've worked together for 11 years. One of them just put a $40,000 down payment on a house, drives a paid-off car, has $85,000 in investments. The other one is borrowing $400 from his mom to cover his rent. Same paycheck hits their accounts on the same Friday, every single time. Nobody at work would ever guess which one is which. That gap didn't happen by accident, and it didn't happen because of income. This is the leverage report. We explain how leverage works in money, business, and systems so you can produce bigger results with smarter decisions. Because leverage doesn't create outcomes, it multiplies them. My name is Rich, and welcome to the show. Most people believe income is their primary driver of wealth. It isn't. Income is the raw material. What you do with it is the product. Two people can earn identical salaries and end up in completely different financial universes within 5 to 10 years, based entirely on 4 decisions. Decisions most people make without ever thinking about them. Sequence spending, savings timing, debt behavior, and lifestyle creep. We're going to go through all 4 today with real numbers, real households, and my own personal experience. Decision number 1, spending sequence. Marcus and Tanya both take home $4,200 a month. Marcus pays himself first. $400 automatically moves to savings before he ever sees it. Tanya saves whatever's left at the end of the month, which is usually nothing. After 5 years, Marcus has $26,000 saved and Tanya has $800. Neither one felt like they were doing anything dramatically different. The entire gap came from one decision made on day 1. Who gets paid first? So here's my version of this. I was a Tanya for years. I told myself I'd save what was left. What was left was always nothing. Then one month I woke up and I set up automatic transfer for the day after my payday. And then everything changed. I didn't change my spending habits. I didn't cut anything out. I just changed the sequence. Savings went first. Everything else got what remained. Within 8 months, I had more saved than the previous 3 years combined. Decision number 2, savings timing. 2 brothers save $300 a month. Kevin starts at age 25. Brian starts at age 35. Kevin stops contributing entirely at age 35. Just 10 years of contributions. Brian continues to contribute every single month from age 35 to 65, 30 years straight. At 65, Kevin has more money than Brian. Not because he contributed more. Brian contributed 3 times as much. But Kevin started 10 years earlier, and time did the rest. The variable that mattered wasn't discipline or the amount, but it was when. My version. I started my Roth IRA late. Thought I'd get to it eventually turned into 4 years of doing nothing. I did the math once on what those 4 years cost me at retirement. It was over $90,000 in lost compounding at a modest return. That number made me sick. And it made me never delay on a financial decision again just because it felt small at the time. Decision number 3, debt behavior. So you got 2 neighbors, both carrying $6,000 in credit card debt. Linda pays the minimum every month, $120 at 19% interest, and it takes her 8 years to pay it off. And it costs her $4,900 in interest on top of the original $6,000. Her neighbor Carlos throws an extra $200 at it each month. Paid it off in 2 years. Total interest $1,050. Same debt. Same starting point. The difference, $3,850 and 6 years of financial drag. Minimum payments are one of the most expensive financial decisions most people make without ever realizing it. Here's mine. I had a credit card I was paying minimums on for almost 3 years, and I felt like I was handling it because I was never late. Then I actually ran the numbers one night. I had paid over $2,200 in interest and still nearly owed what I started with. That was the last night I ever paid a minimum on anything. I found $150 extra in a few months and threw it at the balance. And it was done in 11 months. The math on the minimum payment is something credit card companies are counting on that you never do. Decision number 4, lifestyle creep. Alex and Jordan both get an $8,000 raise. Alex upgrades his apartment, gets a nicer car, starts eating out more. His expenses rise $650 a month. And Jordan keeps her lifestyle exactly the same and routes the entire raise into her investment account. 5 years later, Alex has a nicer apartment and an average investment account. Jordan has $46,000 more in investments than Alex. From one raise decision made differently, neither one is right or wrong about how to live, but only one of them used the raise as leverage. My personal version, the first real raise I got, I upgraded almost everything within 3 months. New car lease, better apartment, more dinners. I felt like I had arrived. 2 years later, my net worth had barely moved despite earning significantly more. More income had just funded a more expensive life. The second raise I got, I made a rule. Live on what I made before the raise and invest the difference. That single rule built more wealth in 2 years than the previous 5. Here's what makes these 4 decisions so powerful and so dangerous. Each one compounds over time in either direction. Good decisions made early produce results that grow exponentially. Bad decisions made early drag that also grows exponentially. The person borrowing from his mom at age 38 isn't dealing with what happened last month. He's dealing with the accumulated weight of 4 unconscious decisions made over 11 years. The good news is, the same compounding that dug the hole can fill it. Here's something that most people never calculate. The average American household pays over $1,300 a year in credit card interest alone. That is $130,000 over a working career, quietly drained from families making minimum payments and never doing the math. But here's the flip side. If that same $1,300 a year was invested, instead of paid in interest at a 10% average return over 40 years, it would grow to over $580,000. The same money, just redirected. That is the real cost of staying at minimum payments. And almost nobody ever runs that number. 3 moves before this week is over. Number 1, change the sequence. Set up one automatic saving transfer the day after your next payday. Even if it's $50, sequencing is everything. Number 2, pull up one credit report. Number 2, pull up one creded card statement and calculate how long it will take you to pay it off at your current minimum payment. Let the number do the work. Number 3, the next time you get a raise or bonus or any unexpected income, decide where it goes before you spend a single dollar of it. Pre-decide. That's strategy leverage. In the next episode, we're talking about the hidden cost of playing it safe with your money. Most people think keeping cash in savings account is the responsible move. We're going to show you exactly what that decision is actually costing you, and it's a number that might change how you think about risk forever. So subscribe and don't miss it. Every episode of the Leverage Report builds on the last, and that compounding effect is going to help you. That's great leverage too. Take care. Leave comment. We can talk.